Hello everyone. So again welcome you and in this video we are going to see that how to create containers on the EC2 instance. So far we have already seen uh, what is container and how to create container without installing Docker. So if you don't want to install Docker onto your machine, you can use play with Docker environment. There already the Docker engine is available that can run all your uh, command that you give in the Docker. So if you want to install, if you want to create container onto the EC2 instance, then we need to first install Docker. And Docker installation means that you are going to getting Docker engine onto the machine, and then Docker engine will provide you all the required configuration, and it will just run all your command that you give as a Docker client. It will also provide you the access to the repository, and whatever the supporting files needed will be fetched by the Docker engine to you to get your work done. So let's see. So the very first thing is you need to have the AWS account, and using the AWS account we are going to create one virtual machine that we call EC2 in the AWS environment. So first we create the EC2 and we will create a Linux machine, and we will on that machine we will just install Docker, and then we will do the basic steps that we have seen in the previous video, that how to make use of images to create a container. And then inside the container we will create some files, and then we will associate the container with other container and then share the files among them. So this is just a basic exercise to understand how the containers works and how to create containers on any machine. So let's start. So this is my AWS account, and here we will go to EC2. This is basically a virtual machine that we create onto the cloud, that specifically on the Amazon cloud. So while creating this EC2, we will keep all the options default. So here it will take us to the to our console, and here you can see about the EC2 how many instances are running here. So it shows that instance running is 0, and I have two security groups, and also I have created one key pair. So let's start from creating a new instance. Already we have practiced that how to create an instance on the AWS. So you can just revise from the previous video that how to create a instance. We'll go to the launch instance. So here we are provided some AMIs. These are the images of these kind of virtual environment. So we can choose any Linux environment which is available under the free tier. So inside the free tier account we have this two configurations are available, where we have kernel 5.10 and SSD volume is available here. Okay, so you can go either with this or either with this. I can prefer to go with this machine, and then you have to just do some initial setup. So we'll keep default all the things. Now to access your machine remotely we need a key pair. So if you already have a key pair, you can use the same key pair or you can create a new one. So already I have a key pair here, so but I would like to create it again. So I'll say key pair, and the key pair name is, let's say, uh, my key. It's already exists with this name, so you can give a new name. new key, and just keep all the things. And you want to access this using a putty, so we'll select this and create a key pair. So you can see here this new key is generated for you. So this is your key. You can just copy and just save it somewhere. Let's say I am going to keep it in my on my desktop. So this is my key here. Now what else is required? We need to allow accessing from, if we want to take the HTTP request, SSH request. So we'll just enable this, and then we will keep the remaining things default. And also you can have a look of summary that what we have configured so far. So this is our uh, machine configuration. This is T2 micro. So all the things we have discussed in detail earlier when we learned how to install an EC2 instance using the AWS. So everything is done for this exercise. Just click on launch instance, and now your machine is going to start. Now you can go and see all the instances that are running on our account. So far we have only one instance here. If you have more instance created earlier, so that can visible here. So this is the instance. Let's say I'll give a name here. So the name I am giving is, let's say, Docker. Fine. To access the instance, we need to have a public IP address. So this is the public IP address given here. We have to copy this address. This will be required when we want to access the instance using a putty. So let us check it's ready or not. So it's running. The status is actually ready. And if you want to see more about this configuration, you can just scroll this and you will find all the information about your instance. Okay, it is done. Now we can just click on this to see in detail all of its configuration. Fine. Now we want to connect this, so we will go to our putty. So here we can have a putty. So already we have discussed that what exactly is putty, how to install it. So I am going here, and then here I will be using the public IP address that was given to my EC2 instance. I am going to paste here. So you can go back and you can copy this public IP address and go back to here, and then so it runs on port 22, so there's no need to change anything. And then you can go to SSH, and then you can go to here, and then you can just browse the key that we have already saved. So on the desktop we have a key, and then click on open. So it will, you can accept this, and then you have to provide a login. So you can write EC2 user, so it's authenticated and we have successfully getting access to our instance using remotely using a putty. So now we will just take the kind of admin access. For this we will write the command sudo su So it will give you the admin privilege and you can run all the commands here. So let us first install Docker. Before that, let's update. So we want to update all the software package onto our machine. So we'll write here yum update. This is the command that we write to update our machine with all the packages available. Hyphen y. So there is no new package for update. Then you can install the Docker. So you can write here yum install Docker hyphen y. That's it. So it will install Docker onto this virtual machine. So once it is done, you can start the Docker. So we can write here service Docker start. And then enter. We can check the status also. So for this we can see service Docker status. So it will tell us that our Docker is activated or not. So here we can see the status of a Docker. So here you can see it is active, it's running, and now we can create the containers using this. So let us clear the screen. So for this we have a command, or we can do this by Control L. Just press Control L and we are able to clear the screen. Now let us check the use the ls command. Okay, so there's nothing visible to us here. So let us first create our image by using a Docker file. So we'll write vi Docker file. So now here you can write your statements in your image. So for this we need to enable the editing mode. So press I. So this Docker, it will show you the insert mode, and here you can write your commands. So from the very first command we write is from Ubuntu. We will do the same thing that we have done in the previous exercise using the play with Docker, and then we create a volume. And let's say the name of the volume is VOL or my volume. So you can write like, so this is done. And then you can just escape from this environment by pressing the escape key, and then also you have to save it. So you can just press colon WQ, colon WQ. So it will save and exit from this environment here. So our uh, Docker file has been created. Now if we need to build the image using this Docker file. So we have to write the command docker build. This is used to create an image, and if we want to give a name to image, we'll write, you will use the tag -t, and let's say the image name is new image, or let's say my image, and then space and dot, and then you can enter. So image has been created now. And now if you want to see, so it will actually create the image, and then if you want to see your image, you can write docker images. So you can see that your image is visible here. Now we will use this image to create our container. So here we will use the docker run command. So we'll write the command docker run, and then we use -it we have discussed in the previous uh, exercise, and then we will also use the name for our container. So let's say you can give any name, container1, or give a small short name. So let's say cont1, this is container1, and you are constructing using your image file, so that name is my image, and then /bin/bash. So with this command we are able to create our container. Let's see. So it appears that our container has got created, and we are inside the container. You can see the ID as mentioned here, and if you want to see what is inside this, just write ls. So inside you will see all the directories inside this container. Some default directories are always created there. Along with that, you can see your own directory as well, which you have created while creating this container. So apart from all these default directories, we can also see my volume, which we have created, and now we want to access the directory and store some files into the directory. So first we let us move to the directory. So we'll write the change directory cd my volume, and now we are inside into our directory, and here we can first list what is inside it. So ls command we will use. So there is nothing. Let us create two files, f1 and f2, or you can give any name. So now we can again see the directory status. We will write the ls command, and now you will find that two files are visible with the name f1 and f2. Now the next thing is we will exit from this container and create another container, and then we will share or communicate among these. So exit from here. So you can see that you have out from this container. So you are now moved to the root, and now from the root we will create a new container. So to create a new container, we will use the previous command that we have already used. So in order to just go through the previous command, we will just iterate using the up arrow key. So it will just iterate all the command that we have used so far. So here we are going to create a new container with the name container2. So here I just modify this previous command. So we'll write here privileged equals true, and then we provide the volumes, and this is from the previous container, container 1, and we want Ubuntu. Okay, so far everything is fine. Let's see. So we'll just press enter. So here this is not identified, so there is a mistake in the spelling. Let us correct this. So we'll go back to our command and we will find here is a mistake in the spelling. This is PRIVI. So let's go back. So now it is corrected. We'll now again run this command, press enter, and now we are able to uh, get a new container. You can see the identity, the ID of the new container. Now here you can just see the status. Just press the ls command and see what is inside, and you will find that you will get all the things from container 1 along with the my volume as well. So now we'll move on to this directory my volume. So we'll write here cd my volume and press enter, and you are inside the my volume directory. And if you look at this, you will find two files are visible which are coming from container 1. Now if you create two more files as we did in the previous exercise, let's say fx and fy inside this. So two files are created, fx and fy. So the total we have four files now inside the container 2. And if we see the list, if you write ls, so you can see the contents. Now four files are visible. Now we can exit from here by typing the exit command, and then you can again start your container 1. So now we are out of that container 1, we are into the root, and you can again start your container 1. So we can write start docker start container 1. So docker start container 1 and press enter. So our container gets started, and once it gets started, you can also associate this container by using the attach command. So you can write docker attach container 1 and press enter. So now you have moved to the container 1, and now you can just look to the content of this container. So you can put the ls command. If you write the list command and enter, then you can see all the directories are visible here along with my volume directory. And we want to check that whatever we have uh, get inside the my volume using container 2 is visible or not. So in container 2 we have seen there are four files existing. So again, if we move to my volume, so we'll first change the directory cd my volume, enter, and we are able to move to uh, my volume directory. So now you can again see the content. by writing the ls command, and I hope you can see here 4 files are visible. So this is working fine, and this is just a very small exercise to see that how to uh, create the images, how to use these images to create a container, and then do some very basic and operations on these containers. So this is all for this video, and we have learned how to work on the container by installing the dockers or without installing dockers. Also, if you want to see more about this docker containers, or also if you want to just revise how to create this EC2 instances on the AWS machine, then again you can go to that website that I have already informed you. You can go to this cexpertvision.com, and here you can find the menu cloud computing, and here you can just go to EC2. It will just tell you step by step procedure that how to create the EC2 instances, what is putty, how to access these instances remotely. So all this you can just revise. If you have forgotten the steps, then you can just revise it, because EC2 you have to create, and once EC2 has been created, you can start doing means you are start creating the containers on your EC2. So all the steps you can see for creating the container as well. That is, again, you have to change the menu, and you can go to cloud computing menu and select that particular option for working with Docker's containers. So let me show you. Here you can find that this is Docker containers, and you will find all the information here. So this is all for this video. Thank you very much.